So there will be a test on Monday.
Why do you like to give Monday tests? You really do like to give tests on Monday.
Well, we could do a test on Friday.
That's alright.
Would you rather have it Friday? We have 2 days next week.
We only have 2 days.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I figured we might as well end the chapter right before the break.
So we should do that on Tuesday. So Tuesday?
I don't have class on Tuesday.
Oh.
It's Tuesday.
Genius. Okay, yeah.
So we all agree with Monday then? Okay, good. All right. Okay. So 2-6 is nonlinear inequalities. Non-linear, that means not straight lines, not y equals mx plus b's. Inequalities is not equality. Very good, yeah. Okay, so not the greater than, we're going to do greater than, less than, alligators. Here we go. Okay, so how do you solve a nonlinear inequality? Well, for starters, this happens to be a quadratic inequality. Okay, so I'm going to start by thinking that this is simply a quadratic equation, and I'm going to solve it as if it were a quadratic equation. Okay, so if this was an equal sign instead of a greater than sign, how would you solve that? Start by setting it equal to 0 and solve it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, so if I add 3, what's negative 30 plus 3? Negative 27, and we're just going to say that it is equal to 0. So now I can factor this. What two numbers multiply to negative 27 and add negative 6? Negative 9, positive 3. Okay, so the two solutions to this quadratic equation are positive 9 and negative 3. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a number line. Whoops, 9 is smaller. And then just do a sign test. Okay, so what's a value that's less than negative 3? Less.
Negative 7.
Wow. So negative 4. We want to use an easy one, right? We don't want to choose too crazy. Okay, so when you test your interval, you have to go back to the original inequality and see if it works or not. Okay, so if I plug negative 4 up into the very top, what's negative 4 squared? 16, and then I have 6 times negative 4. So 16 plus 24. 30. And 30 minus 30 is 0. So is it true? Is 0 greater than negative 3? Yes. Okay, so since negative 4 is a solution of my inequality, I'm going to shade to the left. Okay, now I have to decide now if I'm going to include negative 3 or not. Okay, do you guys remember how you decide if you include it or not with an open or a closed circle?
Oh, if it has the equal sign or not.
Right, so do I include negative 3? Because it's an open, right? Good. Okay, now I'm going to go in between. What's a value that's in between negative 3 and positive 9? That's really easy. I like 0. 0 squared is 0. And then I have minus 0. And 0 minus 30. Negative 30. So is it true? Is negative 30 greater than negative 3? No. Okay, so that means 0 is not a solution. So that means I'm not going to include the interval in between negative 3 and 9. Now I'm going to go to the last one. What's a value that's bigger than 9? 10. So if we plug 10 in, okay, we can do this. 10 squared is 100. 100 minus 60, 40. And 40 minus 30 is 10. So is 10 greater than negative 3?
Yeah.
Yes. So 10 is a solution, so that means I'm going to shade to the right of 9. Okay, so you're good? Okay, yes?
How do you know when to include it?
By the inequality. So see how I have a greater than sign up there? If it's greater than or equal to, then I include it. Okay, so now I need to write my answer. I'm going to write my answer in interval notation. How am I going to say all those values to the left of -3? All values to the left of -3? Okay, so I could say x has got to be less than -3, or I could say -infinity to -3. You prefer interval notation. Okay, and then x has got to be greater than or equal to 9. Or 9 to infinity. Or sorry, not or equal to. Sorry. That's distracting me. Maybe we might. Good there? That's pretty easy, right? Okay, so we do one more example of that? That was straightforward. Everybody's good with solving inequalities, quadratics? Oh, page 1, done. Done. Cool. Okay, so that's one way. Now, let's say we have one that's a little bit more, oops. Let's go to number 2. 3x cubed minus 4x squared minus 13x minus 6 is less than or equal to 0. Okay, so this one is more awesome. Okay, because, yes, definitely. Because now we're dealing with a cubic, okay? We can't just solve this one algebraic. Well, we're going to do it kind of algebraically, but we're going to use a method that we just recently learned. Okay, so again, we're going to pretend for a second that that's an equals. Okay, so how do I solve a cubic if it's an equals like this? With a calculator, we're going to do synthetic division, right? So, Desmos? Feeling Desmos right now. Let's do Desmos. Maybe. Yep. Okay, so we're going to graph it into Desmos. Or your calculator. It might be a lot faster.
Are you recording this?
Yeah, and that's also why it's so slow. The tablet doesn't handle multitasking well. Oh no.
So I have to get my snow tires on, but like when I was turning into the parking lot, I like didn't make any turns. I'm like holding the brake and like drifting.
Oh.
And it's like I'm getting into it so funny. I'm just like looking at my yeah. I just went up there. Because it just kept sliding, and I was like, well, this sucks. I just yanked that sucker. Just pulled it. Yeah. I don't know.
Oops.
It's such a short and it's manual, so I have 4-wheel drive.
Alright, so I made it here, guys. Everybody with me still?
Yeah, barely.
-6. Did I type that right? Is that what you guys wrote down? Alright, so again, what am I looking for once I hit enter? Did anybody else get us a graph?
A what?
How come I didn't graph? Oh, there it is. Holy cow, that was just really slow. Alright, so how about -1? I like -1 and I like +3 for values. So let's use those in the box. So let's start with -1. Okay, guys, we need to stop talking. Focus. There we go. Okay. So -1. Okay, so remember that I cannot use the calculator as proof. that I have a 0, okay? I have to prove it somehow algebraically, synthetic division, whatever. Okay, so I drop the 3. 3 times -1 is -3. -4 plus -3. -7 times -1. -13 plus 7.
5.
-6. -6 times -1. And so we get a remainder of 0. Okay, so there's proof. -1 is absolutely a 0. Okay, I'm going to plug 3 in also from my graph. Okay, unless you like to factor hard method, that's fine, you can do it that way. So if I drop the 3, 3 times 9, or I mean 3 times 3 is 9. -7 plus 9, 2 times 3. Boom, boom, so we get a 0, and so what's my last one? So I got 3x plus 2, and if I solve that, -2/3. Okay, so my solutions to the equation are -2/3, -1, +3. So how do I deal with my inequality? Number line. Okay, so we do the number line. Okay, so my smallest value is -1, then I have -2/3, then +3. Okay, so I'm going to do a sign test, or my solution test. Okay, so I need a value for my first interval. So a value less than -1, -2. So if I plug -2, remember I go back to the original. So -2, okay, we got this. -2 cubed is -8. -8 times 3, -24. So we get -24, and then we get -4, right? -24 minus 4.
No, you have to square it.
I know, but I already did it. Because -1 squared is +1, right? Huh? Oh yeah, we're doing -2. Oh yeah, my bad. Just kidding. So then I have -16. So -24 minus 16, -40, and then plus 26
Why is it plus?
minus a negative, because we were using -2, right?
Yeah.
-40 plus 2. So what are we at? -14, and then -6. So some negative number, definitely. So is our negative less than or equal to 0?
Yeah.
Negatives are less than or equal to 0. So this is a solution. Do I include -1?
Yes.
Okay, yes, I include it. Okay. Then I need a test between -1 and -2/3. What's the value in between those? So just an FY 3/4. Okay, so you could think of it as decimals. You could do 2/3 is 0.66666. So value between -0.66666 and -1. 0.7. So does somebody want to throw that into the calculator for me? See if 0.7 works. Howdy. We're just taking notes.
Oh, where'd it go?
So did everybody get that it's not? Oh, I ended up getting a positive number. Yeah, I got a positive number. So it doesn't work between -1 and -2/3. If we plug in a number between -2/3 and 3, let's say 0. Okay, so if I plug 0 in, I have -6 is less than or equal to 0. Is that a solution? Yes. So it exists between the. So again, we include the values. And if I plug 4 in, okay, hold on. Okay, so since 80 is not in our solution interval, I don't include 4 as an answer. Okay, so what I have right here is my solution. So how would I write that? Let's go ahead and write our answer as an interval. How would I write this as an interval? From negative infinity to negative 1. And I include negative 1, so I want to bracket. And then from what? Union? Sure, yeah. You do. Right, yeah.
Do you have to?
Because I just say both of them. You don't have to, no. It just is like saying and. But if you're writing both of them, I'm assuming there's an and in there. Okay. Okay, so should I keep going with some examples? Let's see, what else? Okay, well then I'm going to let you guys go with this.